We know Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. We know Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Well, if rumors are to be believed, you may only need to know 149 more. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switchforce. Gabe is here, and a 4chan rumor from the same source that leaked all of the supposed Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu information is now stating that the games focus on the original 151 Pokemon. This has caused some uproar as people were, I think, kind of hoping for Gen 8 or at least a Pokemon game that brought in the entire cast, and it looks like, if this is to be believed, that the Yellow remake styling will also apply to the Pokedex.
Yeah, this is sort of a bummer for people that love all these other Pokemon, but, this rumor doesn't close off the fact that they could be available in the endgame stuff, so I do want to make sure and throw that out there, but, for me, personally, I'm kind of okay with this. It's going to be a very nostalgic game, obviously, with them going back to Kanto and it hypothetically being a remake of Yellow, so it makes sense. If it's a remake of Yellow, I don't see why there would be all these other Pokemon that weren't there the first time. But, I've had many thoughts about this, Zach. Like, I'm starting to wonder if maybe all of this is just, false information and this isn't the game at all. There isn't a 0% chance of that in my head. To me, this isn't, absolutely the games. We're not going to get into that here. But if it is the 151 and that's it, how do you feel about that?
I think it really just plays into the fact that Nintendo clearly wants to make this a Pokemon game that opens and expands the audience, and that they will be utilizing this set of cartridges to really further their plan to make the Switch as mainstream as they can. They will continue to support and continue to supply the hardcore with games such as Zelda, Mario, Smash Brothers, things of that sort. But it really does feel like, again, as you mentioned, if these are to be believed, that Pokemon for Switch, at least this first iteration, will be a vessel to expand the audience and casualify the franchise rather than double down or evolve things in a super serious way. And roster-wise, I'm okay. I do like seeing new Pokemon. I think even though it all panned out to be fake and false, the hunt for who are the Gen 8 starters is always a fun time and a fun idea. So I'm all for more. I don't have any issue with that, but at the same time, I do understand doubling down on the original. It worked well for Pokemon Go when that launched. It's the most identifiable. It keeps things manageable. It's personally, it's the coolest cast of characters. It's the most defined cast of Pokemon. You don't have keychain Pokemon and chandelier Pokemon. You just have, Pikachus and Charmanders and Bulbasaurs and Eevees, and I like that better. It's sort of what it means behind the scenes that does bother me, though. I fear the casualization of the games more than I have any concern for the roster. And I'll also point out that, if it is to follow a similar Pokemon Go styling, look, Pokemon Go today announced that they're going to be adding Alolan forms to the game, so they're not shy about expanding. Maybe this expands, as you mentioned, Gabe, the end game, the post game could definitely include a far larger Pokédex. So specifically on the roster front, I'm not worried.
Yeah, so maybe it's time to concede that this might not be the Pokemon game we all thought, right? Because we all thought that we're going to get Gen 8, and it's going to be the next big thing. Console Pokemon games have often been more casual. Right? Pokemon Stadium is something that comes to mind. Pokemon Snap. There's a lot of things of that nature. Maybe this is just one of those, and yeah, at some point we'll get Gen 8, but it's just not time. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It'd be great if it was a wider cast. It'd be great if this was a new region with new Pokemon, but that doesn't seem to be what the game is. And I feel like that game is still going to come, clearly, at some point. It's just not this one. And I'm personally okay with whatever this is going to be. I think so far, it's still contingent on what the game looks like, what it plays like. There's still a lot to be revealed, and hopefully this gets revealed this week or next week. Or if it doesn't, I don't even know what that says about these rumors. We have 2 weeks left. If it doesn't get released now, then part of those rumors are wrong because they said it's going to get revealed in this month. So, I have no idea what's going to happen at this point.
Yeah, Nibelian was talking on Twitter about he feels that this is not the sort of ultimate evolutionary, really game-changing Pokemon that people were expecting or hoping for, that game is still coming, but that it's just this time around is not that. That this is get one on Switch, expand the audience, bring Pokemon to a new generation and a larger audience, double down on what Pokemon Go did really well, and try to bring that over to Nintendo's space rather than, a mobile phone platform. I think ultimately that would be a big bummer, but again, we can't really put our emotions, put too many emotional marbles a la Inside Out in one basket or the other, because we don't know if these are even accurate. But it sure seems like it, and Nintendo did, get on with those domains. So at some level, it's almost like, where there's so much smoke, there's got to be fire.
I will say, I wish it was at least like the next gen. I wish it was Gen 1 and Gen 2 at the very least. That for me is ultimate nostalgia. Like, yes, Gen 1 is like great, but 151 isn't that many. I mean, there's like 800 now, something like that. Like, it's a lot.
It could be a very smart play, though, to you limit and you just condense for a brand new audience, and then also the people who I feel maybe the Switch's strongest supporters, which would be our generation, our sort of age bracket. That's where I started with Pokemon. That's when I was super deep into the card collecting. That's when I watched the show every new episode. Maybe it also does something for those people as well, lapsed fans or people that thought Pokemon Go wasn't for them. You see it on a console, you see it on a cart, and you see it's the original 151. Maybe that brings you back, and maybe this is the way that they try and unify sort of former Pokemon fans and brand new Pokemon fans and try to generate a game that can appeal just, again, as mass market wide as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely see the move. You anger the really, really hardcore people now in hopes that when the next thing comes along, you have more really, really hardcore people because of this. So I can see clearly what Nintendo's trying to do. I just hope it works for them.
Yeah, there's also the slight possibility that in order to get this going as quickly as they did, maybe there just wasn't time for the evolutionary experience that we all hoped for. Maybe it did have to be something that was more of a half step as opposed to like, oh my god, it's a brave new frontier for Pokemon. Yeah. Alas, let's wait and see what happens. Hopefully it happens soon. It sure seems like the pot is boiling, and Gabe, I know you're ready to explode, so give us some freaking real details, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be waiting, and we'll have you covered. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and Switch Pokemon. Follow us on Twitter and Discord. We'd love to see you there. Links are in the description. And until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Fantastic day. For myself and Gabe, Switch Force, out.